Hello, Josh.
Hello. Hey, Susan, how are you?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Hello, Susan. Hello, Josh.
Hey.
Trying to set up my camera.
Same. I
Yeah,
don't know if mine went
there.
there. Maybe. Choose the right camera. That helps. There we go.
Oh, I love the whiteboard behind you.
Thank you. It's gotten some good use.
How do you use it though? Like, do you talk to people over the camera with the whiteboard?
Sometimes, yeah, I'll wheel it up and I'll kind of have it right here and it's close enough that they can see it. But most of the time it's for me, like just I have my tasks usually up there, or if I'm thinking through
Ah, I
something. So
see.
I've got two sides that I can just kind of flip it around and work on the other side to kind of brainstorm or think through something. So that's
Yeah,
what I
I was
do.
just wondering, like, how does the text, how well does it come through the camera?
Well, we can
If I
we can
ever
find
try
out
to do
if
this.
you're curious. So here's my teacher board.
Hmm.
I've got it tilted, so it's probably a little harder to see now. But can you
Yeah,
see it at all?
yeah.
Yeah.
Once the text, like the font is big, I think it works well. Like next time we can even try it out for, explaining concept and um
I've had a pretty good progress or pretty good outcomes. My brain's starting to shut down late at night. With like the Microsoft Whiteboard app. Like I've used that
yeah.
quite a bit. That seems to work pretty well.
But do you have a pen?
Like a pen to
How
draw
would
on the computer screen.
yeah, yeah, how would
I've
you
gotten
write on
used
the
to
whiteboard?
my cursor. I use like a trackball mouse a lot of the times, and so that helps to draw.
Oh, interesting. Everybody got their own different setup.
I That's kind of like a little, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a project of mine, but definitely interest, just tinkering with every conceivable productivity tool. I did a little like deep dive in note taking a couple of years ago, and
Mm,
I ended up even writing a book about it. I don't use that
wow.
system anymore, but yeah, so I dabble in a lot of that stuff. So I've tried a lot of different things.
Okay, so what is the note? Like in short, what's the note? What is the recommended note-taking app or process?
So my first question would be, what's your purpose of the notes? So if it's just to capture kind of fleeting things or reminders, just get a simple notebook and write it ad hoc. Like, just let every page kind of a rapid log is a term that comes to mind from bullet journaling, where it's just a bullet. So basically, if it's a task, you put a dot and you write the task. If it's a note, you put a hyphen and then you write the notes so you can visually see which is notes, which are tasks.
Mm,
That's the easiest thing. But if you're trying to if you're trying to learn something new, or you're trying to build something, like some kind of body of work with writing, like a book or a blog post or whatever, then the knowledge management systems are useful. My favorite two are Smart Notes, and that was actually a recent book that popularized an old technique called the Zettelkasten method, which was was it a sociologist, a German sociologist that created it, and he had like his entire home office just with note cards, like little index cards. And then there's a whole system for organizing the ideas and connecting them together and stuff. But then the smart note or the building a second brain is my second favorite method. That's a little bit more practical because it's meant to be used with digital tools. And it uses something called the para method. So like project, area, resource, reference, and archive. So you have like all your project notes in a particular folder, all your like area. So like management might be one, or leadership might be one for you, Susan, as you moved into your engineering manager role. And so that's kind of a longer lived thing, and projects are shorter lived. And then your reference are like Golang type stuff, stuff that you pull every so often, the blog posts that you would reference, like the go by example or something like that might be something that would fit in the reference as you picked up. And then archive is just once you've found a particular area not useful anymore, you don't delete it, you just move it into archive so you could dig through it later if you wanted to. But those are the two methods that I stuck with the longest. For the work that I do
yeah.
now, the notebooks enough. Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that. And we've got that information captured all in, recording. We will, I will share the notes later for anyone who's
yeah. And if
interested to
anybody's
learn
ever
more.
interested in talking about knowledge management and note taking, just let me know. I'm happy to set up some time and talk about the things that I've learned. But
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
no
I
problem.
think we have everyone. I'm gonna work on sharing my screen with the agenda. Share. Yeah, can everybody see?
Sure can.
Bin Bin, I have a conflict today at 10:40 or like in 40 minutes. So I might pass the host to you if we haven't ended the meeting. Would you be able to um, facilitate the remaining discussions and I'll follow up on the notes?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Cool. First agenda, the PR missing status update in KPM controller. One specific feedback, I think, was to use a struct. I'm guessing.
It's a bin comment. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm guessing, Josh, like you want to talk about this PR
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Yep.
later
For sure.
status, yeah? So let me
It's
bring up the PR.
yeah. Please do.
That one. Okay, go ahead.
So I like the idea. I'm curious how we would implement the struct, like where it would be put, if it would be in the cube refresher file or in the refresher. And then the reason I used the interface was so if there were any future refresher types that we could use the same kind of factory and then pass in different config values later on. And so like maybe I'm just misunderstanding like how could we use a struct to replace it? The map. Because my first thought was if we put it in like the cube refresher and then there's like a cube refresher config and that's specific to that. But if we pull that into the cube refresher, does that make it so it is less flexible in the future for an vnext refresher type, whether it be like CLI or whatever it might be?
Bin Bin, do you want to go through what you had in mind? I can bring up the
Yeah, if you just open
code.
up that file there, the
Yeah,
controller, you'll see the config in there, and that's what we'd want to convert to a struct.
just search for this line.
Yeah, so my question is that if we want to support a more refresher tab, what's the difference between defining a map and a struct? I feel it's the same. Like
Okay, fair point.
if we define it as a struct in the future, if we want to support more types, so we can just like use different values for the refresher tab. So I
So
feel it's the same.
for that, would I create like a cube refresher config in the cube refresher.go and then just basically define that struct here, like populate the struct right here instead of this map, and then pass that to create refresher from config?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe we
Okay.
can just define a refresh config struct, and it can be used by all the refresh like implementations.
Okay. And
Bin
then,
Bin,
oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Susan.
Josh.
Oh,
Oh, I
so
was just, go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, Susan. I'll pause. I'll pause.
Okay. I just want to ask, Bin Bin, do we have an existing pattern somewhere else in the code base where we can point Josh to an example?
I can find one, but I feel it's very similar to other, like for example, Ratify or something else, the configuration. Because my reason is that if we want to use a map, then maybe the key is not like the key can be like changed over time, but if we can confirm that the key will be always source values, then we can just define abstract.
So would this be a good example? So the verification response is a struct?
Yes, something like that. Because I feel for a map, it will be difficult to access each value of the map because we need to check it. Firstly, we need to check if it exists, and then we need to do some type assertion, and that was
That's
like it's some we need to check error, so something like that. It will be very like not readable for us.
Okay.
I'll add a link here, Josh.
Sounds good.
Just in community meeting, see example at cool. Any other blockers on this PR, Josh?
I think since I rebased, there's some tests that are failing. I worked through one earlier today. There's another one in the test end to end that I'm working through. I don't quite know what the issue is just yet, but that's the only thing I'm blocking this from being merged. Back to the previous discussion. Should converting it to a struct be included in here for the PR to go through, or should that be a follow-up to kind of just to change that behavior from, because I've fixed the checking if it exists and checking the type, all that thing. So it should be functional from that perspective. But do we want to make the struct change in this PR or in a follow-up PR?
If it's not a big change, I think we can include in this PR.
Yeah, it doesn't, just from the discussion, doesn't seem like it'd be too big of a thing, but just wanted to ask.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we can close everything in this PR. So
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And Josh, on the test failure, is it a end-to-end test, is it?
It's the test end to end. I'm not sure. It's calling it's in the make file, so it's make end-to-end test, generate cert rotation. It's on line 157 of the make file.
Is this the right log to pull up?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Usually when I search for the failing test case, I just search for keyword not okay.
Not okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this one base test with cert rotator. So
Without
yeah,
search
without.
rotator. Yeah. Okay. So is this the only failing test? Let's see. So not okay, not okay. Notations. So I guess I'm not sure how if they're independent, but Binbin, our end-to-end tests should be independent of each other, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, because we do like cleanups and stuff like that. So so it looks like there is something, it could be something little, Josh, but there's some validation because it's impacting multiple test cases. I'm imagining it's some basic thing that we're missing here.
Mhm.
So we have to figure out what is so we can start with the first one. The first not okay was, oh my God. Base test without cert rotator. And then it's should be success, which could mean that the current behavior with the latest bits, it's the deployment failed or it didn't go through. So then it could be related to like not being able to fetch the key or have an error status related to that. I would think it's related to configuring of the validation key. So the so the deployment failed, it ended up being blocked by Kubernetes. And then the next step would be look at the logs. So you would click on the summary tab and download the artifacts that we upload. So you would download this log. This would give us insight to all the activities in the Ratify pod.
Okay. Yeah, it did say something about like the admission controller rejected it from running.
Right.
So
then the Ratify logs would contain the verification response.
Okay.
With the exact failure.
Okay, I'll take a deeper look into it. Hopefully, it won't take too long to remedy.
Yeah, because a lot of tests failed. I'm imagining it's something simple.
It seems like something the setup failed and then had a chain reaction. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, so that is the PR. The next one, I think Binbin, you sent a message about this, that some Microsoft user is asking for some extra behaviors where we could behave differently based on the configuration. I just have some question about the description. I just want to clarify with you. So I understood the refers API provides annotation. And one first clarification here, annotation, is this annotation just when the artifact was created or when it was attached?
That's a good question. I need to check it out.
Yeah, I see. Yi, do you have much context on this issue?
Yes. So first, based on the description for the users, they are attaching artifacts to the images, and we can also call this artifact metadata, or supply chain related data. So based on the description, and that can go down. So in users scenario, I think it's related to the I found this word, vulnerability verification. So so the metadata or the artifact that are associated with the image will be the vulnerability reports. And as you know that over time, that vulnerability report, I think this also based on the frequency that the scanner performed. I think based on the user description that let's say for every 24 hours there will be a vulnerability report generated and attached to the image. So over time, for example, for 1 week there will be 5 reports, right? The user want to figure out whether there is a way that they can they don't necessarily to pull all the or check all the vulnerability reports. They just want to have the latest one for analysis because the older one, right, it doesn't make sense for validation.
Yep. So here, when he describes latest referrer, only verify the latest image, do you believe he means only verify the latest vulnerability report, which is the latest artifact of that type?
Yeah, I think so. So maybe this is the typo.
So all
Yeah,
this
only verify the latest
occurrences,
server.
like before pulling the image, like Ratify does not pull the image, we pull the artifact, right? So I feel like the
I
description could have more clarification on image versus artifact.
I think it should be the artifact that associated with one images because
Right.
there could be many vulnerability reports that they want to validate and confirm that this image is compliant based on the policy, right?
Right.
So it should be the referrals, the second bulletin, the referral. I think it means the vulnerability report in the user's scenario.
Right. Also by this, like the first one to pass validation by vulnerability report age.
I think so. I think so because it's additional information to the bulletin test, right? So I think it should mean the referral.
Yeah, I had a quick look at the refer result documentation. If there's like annotations on the artifact, so like in the vulnerability report case, this specification says the refers API must allow for artifacts to be sorted by date and time which they were created, which should be included in the manifest list of annotation. The creation time must be the value of artifact.created annotation as specified in the spec. The result of the refers API must list artifacts that were created most recently first. Artifacts that do not have the annotation must appear after those with creation times specified. So from the reading of the specification, it feels like if they were annotated correctly, the refers API would return them in the right order. And we just, like Ratify just have to say, if you have this latest refers configured, we just read one and we stop there. It seems Ratify doesn't have a lot of work to do. But anyway, so it's good that contributor, they marked that they are willing to implement it. So I was hoping that you could reach out to see, like, would they be able to implement this themselves maybe in the next release? Like, is that what they're planning to do?
Yeah, I think we can follow the process that they can start writing a proposal, right? Then we can review the proposal, and according to your investigation, that it seems currently there is a way to do that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I can reach out to this issue author to discuss the next steps.
Yeah, sounds good. Binbin, do you have insight to the refers API on the size of this implementation?
Yeah, actually, I have one question. So I just wonder if they want to just support this feature for the vulnerability verifier, or they want to support for all verifiers. Like, for example, if we have a
Yeah.
notation signature and a vulnerability report, and the notation signature is latest artifact, and in that case, should we just get the note? Should we just verify the notation signature, or should we ignore the notation signature and also check the vulnerability report? So
Got it.
Yeah, if the filtering is just for the vulnerability report, then I would think it would require like more work on the code base.
Got it. Got it. So the question, we do have a question. If this, what did they call this? These configuration, if this new configuration is applicable applicable to all artifact. Is it all artifact or all artifact, right? Or versus vulnerability report only, or selected artifact type. Because customers can define their artifact string. So Binbin, you're saying it's easier to apply to all artifact type, right? Like that's just across the board.
Yes, so just as we checked the Aura spec, we just need to always get the latest one. But if we want to add an artifact type, yeah, I remember also the Aura's leaf referral API also supports like both the artifact type and other filtering options. So probably it's also easy to add that, but I feel we just need to confirm the use case.
Yeah. So we've triaged this issue. Well, at least we've talked about it. E, would you like me to put it into 1.4 for now?
Yeah, we can do that. I will today contact the author for it. I think their scenario is they attach the vulnerability report regularly to images and to an image, and each vulnerability report should be signed at least with one signature. So this is their scenario. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will contact the author to decide the next step.
Yeah, thank you. So I've put it in the next milestone and assigned it to him. Like, feel free to reach out and understand their timeline, and we can move this as needed.
Sure.
Okay, so that is the one issue that we need to triage for the week. Moving on to the next agenda, CRL and CRL cache design. Binbin, Junchen, is this an item that you've added?
I think Junchen added this topic.
Okay, cool. Junchen, would you like to? I'll pass the host to you, and then you can share your screen, and then you can pass it back to Binbin.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Okay, let me make you the host. Change the host to Junchen. Yes.
I'm going to share my screen. Number one, share. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so let me briefly. Oh, I found the problem. The screen. Oh, got it. It works. And so this is briefly about how I plan to design the CRL implement and CRL cache design in the Ratify. Main goals was about bumping up CRL support and define a cache provider interface for CRL based on the current cache provider we have in Ratify. And besides, also, we're planning to update related documents after this bump up. So I just, this one thing I want to bring up is why we use caching, because the preloading of CRL can help improve the performance of verifier, and it can save quite a lot of time when we're trying to verify an artifact if we have the CRLs loaded while doing, well, we set that we have to do the revocation check. Design of the CRL cache provider interface, including the original get and set with TTL and delayed functions. So the delayed may not be fully used in our cases because we're planning to implement a file-based cache plan. And the next update was for the cache refreshing. The fetch function right here is inherent from the notation designed, interface, which was used to fetch the latest CRL using the HTTP client. In our cache, I plan to have the URI for the CRL for key, and in the value, we got the bundle, and the bundle has a metadata, including all the like create time and size information. Besides from that, we have the structure also include a next update, or we can call it TTL, to ensure we can check the latest update time for the cache to get refreshed. Also, there are two points of refresh the cache. The first one is we can create an expiring cache, just directly set when the cache expires by getting the latest next update. And the second one is just follow the default validation plan from the notation, go through all the CRLs and check if next update time is reached. So the difference between these two is the first one, we have to do a wrap over the original value of the next update for easier checking when doing the refreshing. We don't have much change while doing downloading CIL. This is just following the implementation of the fetcher. And after we get the CIL, we can save them to cache. And here is the basic implement of how the cache set works, as well as the get. Yeah, here's the core functionality of how we plan to design the refresh cache. We, as mentioned previously, will get the closest expire date and set to the cache provider, similar to the current set with TTL function. And by configuring refresh interval, we can monitor and refresh the cache provider to ensure its concurrency safe, its thread safe. We use a lock to make sure the change is thread safe. Yeah, that's so far the design. Any questions or suggestions?
Thank you, Jingchen. Some of us may not be as familiar with CRL. Would you be able to give us some context on which customer scenario this enables?
Sorry, I muted myself. CRL was basically used in revocation check in notation, so we do not have extra configuration to use the CIL except a time threshold configure to do the CIL download, like here. Default threshold. Yeah, so basically there won't be breaking changes or extra configuration. The CIL is for the definitions, there are different kinds of CILs, and we can follow the spec for more information about how CIL validates the certs. It's basically just get a bunch of sites, and you can download a list of the validate certs and see if the current cert to verify is expired.
Yeah, thank you, Juncheng. I need to drop for a meeting conflict, the same meeting that Shuo is going into. My last question is, I need to review this a bit more. Would you be able to transform this into a GitHub PR so it's easier for checking the comments and tracking conversations?
Sure, I can create PR and head into the design folder.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Bin, I'll drop for now and I'll follow up later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Juncheng, so I have another question. So can you briefly explain the overall workflow of how Ratify use the CIL?
Sure. So like the step, I think every step comes start from the create cache, and by using the interface cache provider we have to implement, we use that one to first we download the CIL as doing the preload. KPM can just import the cert, and once we got the cert from the KPM or from the cert paths, we can trigger the CIL downloading. After download CILs using the method provided by notation call go, we can save the CIL content to the cache using the set method right here. And when CIL is ready, we can get CIL also from a method, the get method of the interface. To keep the CIL is in time and never get out of date, we have this refresh mechanism to keep refreshing after we reach the latest next update. Yeah, so here is the basic workflow about how we like get, set, and maintain the cache. Is it clear?
Yes, that makes sense. I wonder, how do you plan to implement the cache?
Currently, I'm designing a file-based cache. Probably you have more details in the next version of the document, but as you can tell by the get and set function, it do not include any further libraries. Of course, it just use the default file and bundle and tar, these functions, which has already been like kind of indirectly imported from the notation cargo. So it's just like a reassemble of the original design of how notation cargo gonna get and set the file-based cache.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
optimize it.
actually, I have one more question. I think because I don't think everyone will have context on the CIL. So can you explain why we need to add the cache for the CIL?
Oh, sorry, Paula, missed this one. So, here is the second. Let me see. Okay, so the reason we have caching is because preload CLL can save time for verification. If we download the CLL, which size can be up to 64 megabyte, during the verification process, it will like largely increase the verification time and which is harmful to our overall performance, as the design can help avoid that happening. And the reason we use Ratify design cache rather than the original design from the CIL team, because we want to reduce the interface of our designed unified cache provider.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does
Oh,
anyone have
Payman, do
more
you have any
questions?
questions? Yeah, I saw Payman just unmute.
I have one question and another small tip. So my
Yeah.
first question, I'm curious on will the file-based cache to create a temporary folder to store the CLL file for preloading purposes, or I'm curious on how we store the CLL cache in the file system.
We are saving our cache in the format of a structure of a mix of the bundle and metadata that supports Ratify. It's a bit different from the metadata of the bundle that designed for the notation CRL cache, which include the special value of checking next update, especially for the refreshing. And yes, it will create a file. As you can see, when we're trying to set it, we save it to a temp file right here. And we get it, we're trying to open the file.
Will that generated file be required stored in a specific folder in user's file system? My concern is that if we have to require the cache file in a specified root path, I think it may depends on different operating system.
Oh, that's a good point. Probably I can check how notation and auras resolve that to make sure that like it's across platform. And by the way, there's another reason we're using this design for when we in the CLI scenarios, when the Ratify run once and we want to ensure the cache stays, rather than going away with the memory storage. So that's why we prefer have it in a temporary file path.
Okay, understood. And the small tip for improving this design doc, as some of the attendees are asking about the workflow. So I'm thinking that it might be much easier to understand for audience if you can draw a workflow diagram for how CIL cache works in Ratify and how it associated with notation.
Oh, that's a good point.
At the beginning of this talk. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let me add this right here. So probably
And yeah. And by the way, I know Junjie has very fantastic slide deck for CLL introduction. Maybe it can be another diagram to illustrate how basically the CLL works in the certificate revocation check. Yeah. Just small tips and based on your needs. Yeah.
Yeah, I can add that into the reference. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I will hand over to Bingbing, host. Anyway. Any clue how can I do that?
If you let me check. If you click the there should be triple dot on the right.
Oh, make host. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go.
Thank you. Make share screen. Okay. So we have gone through all the topics, and let's go back to our repo and see. Okay, we still have two. I have two PRs on the error messages, and yeah, I think I need to set up a meeting with you to review the remaining like error messages. Yeah, and thank you for a lot of feedbacks for these two PRs. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, thank
And
you, Bin, for addressing those issues. We can continue the discussion today because yesterday I was oof.
yeah, thank you. And we have reviewed it. And for these two PR, Junchen, do you have any updates on these two PRs?
Yeah, I have resolved all the comments and drop a message in the channel. So yeah, this one is about error message. Yeah, I have update according to the suggestions since the parent function have included all the information we need. So I just returned an error and error messages have been updated.
Okay. And also, can you check if there is anything wrong with our end-to-end
Sure.
test?
Let me take a look.
This one. Okay, default templates. I will take another look.
Thanks.
And go back to Ratify web. Okay, Hey, Junchen, can you maybe address those comments today so we can probably merge this today?
Sure, I will take a look.
Yeah, thank you.
115, right? Okay, gotcha.
Okay, we have gone through all the PRs. For issues, there is no uncharged issues. And for the milestone, let's check 1.3. Okay, we have 3 issues left. This one is pending on the remaining 2 PRs. Junchen, do you have updates on this issue?
Yeah, so I have taken a brief look at how we're gonna implement this. I'm applying the changes to all the controllers, and I can draft a PR by the end of the day.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, thank you. And this one, yeah, we already have a PR. So, Josh, do you think we can merge the PR before the release?
Oh, that's Friday, right?
It's September 16th.
16th. Oh, yeah, we'll be able to. I'm just working on trying to figure out what the end-to-end tests were failing in the verification. It's probably something to set up. So that's it. It looks like it was failing in dev on my local dev too, a dev branch. So yeah, it's a weird one, but it doesn't look like it's related to the changes that I made. It's just something, maybe a fluke in my branch or something like that. But yeah, by the 16th for sure.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any like questions on the end-to-end test, I can help you out.
I'll let you know. Yeah, I figured out what the workflow is doing, so I'm going to try to just walk through each step because I'm not able to find it in the logs just yet. But I'm sure I'll reach out when I have some tangible questions.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So I think we have everything discussed. So yeah, we have 9 minutes left. Just wonder if anyone have more topics want to discuss today.
I think I'm good.
Okay, cool.
No, from my side.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see
Bye.
y'all.
Thank you. Bye
Talk
bye.
to you later. Bye.
Bye.